Hi, welcome to Promo Insiders, an ASI media podcast that covers the issues that matter most to the promotional products industry. I'm Chris Ruvo for ASI, and today we'll be chatting with one of the most powerful and innovative women in the world of sports and marketing. I'm talking about Charlotte Jones. Charlotte oversees business operations and marketing strategies for the most valuable sports franchise in the world, the Dallas Cowboys, of course. On January 25th at the ASI Show Fort Worth, Charlotte will deliver a much anticipated keynote for the promo industry. In it, she'll discuss the challenges and solutions she encountered while building the Cowboys' massive global brand and share 5 brand pillars responsible for the success. Head to asishow.com to learn more. Today, Charlotte will share insights in marketing, merch, and more that every promo pro will want to hear. Charlotte, thank you for joining me.
Oh, Chris, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be on with you.
All right, so let's jump into this first question here. Obviously, as we mentioned, no surprise to anyone listening to this, the Cowboys have one of the most iconic and recognizable brands in the world. Can you give us a glimpse of what it's like to manage that and build on its success?
Well, I'm actually sitting here live at the Star in Frisco, and this is our Cowboys headquarters. And, I think when you come out here and you take a look around, we are certainly not your typical NFL headquarters. And I think we have been able to leverage the brand and the tradition and the history of the Dallas Cowboys to do things a little differently. And I think in that space of innovation, we have really taken a leap, if you will, to experience or provide an experience to our fans that exceeds the experience that they get at the stadium. And most people might not realize this, but NFL, there are only 13% of NFL fans that ever go into a stadium. And most of the time, when you think about sports, you're thinking about that day, that game, that particular occurrence. And really, that's only 10 days a year for us at the stadium. So our headquarters became our expression for the other days of how do we become an evergreen brand and experience and game and must see for the other days of the year. And I think it really is the like bricks and mortar representation of why our brand may be a little bit different than most.
A little bit different than most is definitely one way to put it. It stands out everywhere. It's funny. I was traveling earlier this year in Europe for work, and I couldn't get over how many people are actually wearing Dallas Cowboys gear. Now, these are people who are not necessarily football fans, but there's something about the brand that appeals to them. So it just does whatever you're doing, it's working because it does seem to it transcend football, the game. It's everywhere and it's seen. It's so recognizable. So.
Yeah,
Um,
our actually our mission when we built AT&T Stadium was that clearly we wanted to create a home for the Dallas Cowboys and a place that our fans could come that they would appreciate and have a really memorable experience. But we wanted to attract fans beyond the world of sport.
mhm,
And I think our goal and our vision has always been of how do we find the fan that might not be the football fan, and
mhm.
maybe they're fans of technology, maybe they're fans of media or art or entertainment or just architecture. And if we could create something that they would actually want to come see it as much as they wanted to come see us, then we might have the opportunity to expand that fan base and really draw in people that might not be your typical fan. And then once we got a hold of them, then maybe we could turn them into Cowboy fans.
All right, fantastic. Well, it's obviously working. So let's jump on to this next question here. Your keynote, as I mentioned in my introduction, is going to focus on 5 brand pillars. We obviously don't want to give everything away, but can you give us just a little taste of what you're going to cover in that keynote, something related to those pillars?
Yes, and I won't tell you all of them right now, but I think what's super important is that all 5 are equally important. And I think sometimes when we start companies that we know that we've got certain pillars that are important, but we may lean heavy on one and not so much on the other. And for us, it's about the balance across all of them. And probably one that might be obvious to a lot of people is really about tradition. And when we got involved in the Dallas Cowboys, we realized pretty soon how valuable the actual brand was. It wasn't
Mhm,
so much about the team we were inheriting or the record at that time, but it really was what was it about the brand that
mhm,
people really wanted to attach to? And that starts with tradition. Where does
Mhm.
it all come from? How do you, we know we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, but how do we build on that tradition as we seek to innovate? So those are a little of the things that we'll kind of touch upon that when
Mhm.
you come see us live. But I think we all need to remember what are the things that we value most about our company, and then how do we treat each one compared to the other.
Okay. All right, great stuff. I can't wait to learn more. I think it's a fantastic little teaser, and there's certainly no tradition like it, I think, in American sports. Maybe the New York Yankees are pushing up on you guys
There
a
you
little bit,
go.
but it's
Yes, yes.
you are the twin tops, I'd say. So obviously we're talking to promotional products for professionals. That's our audience. So we're curious, how does your brand leverage branded merchandise, promotional products, and what you do to brand build?
Oh, well, clearly, merchandise is a key part of who we are. Those jerseys mean a lot. And,
Hmm.
that expression of fandom, but also just being able to connect beyond the game itself and what that actually means. And we were one of the few teams, well, actually, we were the only team in the NFL to control completely our mark and logo in all of our merchandising, start to finish. And just here recently, that changed with a partnership with Fanatics. But for years, we held total control over what was the product, what did it look like, where was it going to be sold, how were we going to expand the availability of it, who would our partners be, and everything. And I think that is really one just a testament to the brand itself and the tradition of the Cowboys, but also the ability to go in and say, you know what, I think we can protect our brand
Hmm.
and grow our brand better than anybody else. And in that process, we evolved to be able to do that merchandising and then to be able to take advantage of the swings that were
Hmm.
on the field. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, when you sign a new player, you want to be able to turn that around quickly.
Yes.
Season is hot, you want to be able to like really amp that up. If
Right.
things are going so well, you don't want a warehouse full of things that don't
Right.
work.
All
So,
right.
there's a lot of nuance there, but that's certainly been something that we have been passionate about and super hands on about as well.
Yeah, it sounds it. Um, as far as merchandising partners go, what do you look for, or even any marketing partner you might be working with? What are you looking for in those partners? How do you use them to help you do what you do?
I'd probably say the most important thing is trust, uh,
Okay.
and respect. And I think that sometimes people have really great ideas about they think your brand should be all over the place and it should look like this and it should be done like this. And when you really know in your core what is the best move for your brand, being able to protect that, being
Hmm.
able to say no when you don't think it's the right fit, but then when you have a partner that truly understands the integrity of your brand, respects theirs equally as much, then you can really do some great and powerful things together.
Fantastic. So I want to maybe switch gears for a second away from the Cowboys. As busy as you are with that, you also have charitable causes that are close to your heart. And I was hoping that you can maybe tell us a little bit about that and maybe how you might use branded merchandise, promotional products as part of those efforts as well.
Yes, well, we're super excited. I'll touch on one that maybe a lot of people might have seen on national television, but during our salute to service game against the Colts the first weekend in December, we are doing a partnership with the National Medal of Honor Museum. And as
Wow.
you may or may not know, the Medal of Honor is the highest award awarded to someone in combat that the
Mhm.
president gives. And so we are building a museum for the National Medal of Honor. We are recognizing the recipients, obviously, along the way, building a monument in DC, and we're also building a leadership institute. But through that, in that game, we actually changed our helmet and wore a red, white, and blue stripe
Mhm.
down our helmet, which of course we did make available for sale.
Sure.
So that all those proceeds would go back to the Medal of Honor. We also had our players customize their cleats for the Medal of Honor, and we did custom Nikes for both the coaches and the recipients, which is also an incredibly unique avenue to have that unique partnership with Nike and the ability to do those unique shoes. And then a lot of merchandise that went along with that, that co-branded both, that was a true, tribute to the military, but the
Mhm.
proceeds raised from it went straight to them.
You talked about tradition before and kind of building on what's gone before, and that partnership seems like such an apropos one for the Cowboys being America's team and kind of what the brand represents. It just seems to work so nicely together.
Yeah, well, it certainly is a chance for us. We have been fortunate enough to play a game that we love to pursue an American dream, but we would not be able to do that if it weren't for the men and women in armed forces. And it is our perfect opportunity to be able to say thank you, to stand side by side and honor them, and then hopefully like to instill that patriotism back in our country and bring people together. That's what I love most about our game is that I really feel like it unites people. It's for all walks of life, all generations, all ages, everybody there. And for those few hours, everybody is rooting together, cheering together, maybe crying together or stressing together,
Right.
but they're together.
Hopefully tears of joy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, great stuff. We appreciate you taking some time with us to give us a little teaser. Just any final thoughts on why people should come out and see you in Fort Worth?
Well, I am so excited for people to come join us because it's really going to be a great day. And, I think the most interesting part of this is a lot of times people step back and they just see success. What they don't see is the struggle or the
Right.
journey to get there. And I'm excited to share a few of those insights of those bumpy times and those
Mhm.
challenges that really made us who we are today.
All right. Fantastic. Charlotte Jones, Dallas Cowboys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at ASI Show Fort Worth.
Excited. See you soon.